You're rocking with King Troll. And I'm your boy, just call me Monty, a.k.a. King Gigawatt. P, just call me Monty. Back with an intro to make your head turn. Wave gang, making it happen. When will they ever learn that we stay strapped with the heat? Some all mass burn and I'm just here to assist. Like Steve Nash, turn back? Nah, never. I'm a goat with the intros. King Troll, EBL shooting, so get low. Squad so exclusive, if you ain't, then it don't matter. Right there's your home, run when we pitch like a nice batter. This battle rap, and when it comes to that, we go talk. Exclusive battle league, man, they think it's a cakewalk. Until they come to battle and get smoked by a killer. Stop sleeping on the league, bet not come with mad filler. We out here, see I move different, just say the word. Call me David with that slingshot, throwing them angry birds. Yes, King Jigger, I'm just talking, so pay attention. This is just the intro, but me snapping with my decision. Wave gang all day, yeah, you heard what I said. Anybody sleeping on us, we gon' put them to bed. It's wave gang all day, yeah, you heard what I said. Don't get it twisted, dread like you got something to dread. It's wave gang all day, yeah, you heard what I said. Anybody sleeping on us, we gon' put them to bed. It's wave gang all day, yeah, you heard what I said. Don't get it twisted, dread like you got something to dread.
Nacho Sundays, every Sunday at 6 p.m. Live on YouTube on the EBL Exclusive Battle League Network. Hosted by Fibonacci Brown.
Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme, nacho Sunday.
Nacho Sundays.
Nacho
Where it's not your
Sunday.
opinion, it's Nacho's opinion.
Nacho
Hosted by
Sunday.
Fibonacci Brown.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme,
Nacho Sundays. Where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. Hosted by Fibonacci Brown.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme, nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays.
Hosted by Fibonacci Brown. Don't forget to go to FibonacciBrown.com to get your copy of Throwing Down.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays.
Brought to you by the exclusive Battle League Network. EBL.
What up, though, family? How is my sound good? You guys, can you hear me okay? Is my lighting right? Am I hitting the right angles? How the heck are you? It's been one heck of a week. Thank you guys for pulling up to Nacho Sundays. This is episode 9 of Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. And we are going to start this show off just like we do the others with giving out the announcements. These announcements, these are the spicy announcements, you guys, because first of all, there's an event tonight, okay? My network, EBL, where I am home, is having a battle tonight. They have been doing these 24-hour prep battles, and when I tell you, people have been pulling up with fire, and they have gotten 24 hours, or matter of fact, let me back up. The first battle that they had like this, they only had 4 hours prep and it was fire. So I need you guys to make sure you're pulling up to EBL Network tonight. They are going to be doing another 24-hour or less prep battle. The third version is going down tonight. Make sure you pull up for that. As always, check out Wave and Blaze Monday through Saturday, starting at 7 a.m. Best AM morning show on the internet. They are going to talk about a range of things. And if you are not interested in what they're talking about, you could just pull up for Dave's hairline. That's always got a story to tell without anybody saying anything. So make sure you pull up to Wave and Blaze Monday through Saturday, starting at 7 a.m. And you can always catch our pop-up podcast called King's Court. That is where our very own EBL King has a pop-up podcast, and there is no telling what they're going to be talking about on King's Court. So make sure you are staying locked into EBL Network so that you can catch the pop-up podcast. You can catch Wave and Blaze Monday through Saturday, and you can catch Nacho Sundays every Sunday at 6 p.m. And you cannot forget to pull up to the Fourth Round. Fourth Round is a podcast where our EBL family has collaborated with our Is We Poddin' family, and they are interviewing some of your favorite top tier battlers. I'm losing count. Danny Myers, Password, C3, Swave Seva, like all kinds of people are pulling up to get on these interviews. These questions are amazing. You are getting insight into some of your favorite top tier battlers that you might not have gotten in other interviews or discussions with them. So make sure you're pulling up to the Fourth Round on the EBL Network, hosted by our Is We Poddin' family. And make sure you pull up tonight to EBL to catch those 24-hour or less battles. Third installment is going down tonight. These battlers, they are not playing. I understand they don't have that much time to prepare, but some of these battlers are definitely, they're performing under pressure. So I suggest you pull up or even get in contact with EBL to let them know that you want to be a battler on one of the 24-hour pull-ups. You find out who your opponent is that day with however many hours you have left, and then the battles go down at 10 o'clock. I don't know if they changed the time for tonight, but as far as I know, 10 o'clock tonight is going down with the 24 hours or less prep battles. Also, make sure you guys head over to FibonacciBrown.com. I am an author. I have written a book called Growing Down, The Observation of the Masculinization of the Black American Woman. And you can get that at FibonacciBrown.com. That's FibonacciBrown.com. Make sure you head over there. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Also, EBL has an event coming up on May 5th. Now, this May 5th card is called the Cam Up card. Now, I know a lot of you guys are familiar with EBL because they do the audio battles, but now they are doing virtual battles where you can cam up, see your opponent, they can see you. You could put all your gestures and emphasis into your punches and your bars so that they come off the way that you want them to, all on camera. So if you're interested in doing the cam up battles, make sure you let EBL know and make sure you pull up to the Cam Up battle on May 5th. Some of the people that are going to be on this Cam Up battle are some of the people I've been waiting to see because I've only heard them, but Villa is going to be in that Cam Up on May 5th battle. So is Greg the Great. Detroit's own Eden Good and Kinesis are going to be in that battle. And there's also going to be Coat the Goat and Miss Vicious. So that's just to name a few. I hope you guys don't forget to pull up May 5th to the Cam Up battle. You are going to actually be able to see some of your favorite battlers and maybe some new faces where you've only heard the voice and you haven't seen the face. This is a great opportunity to see what that looks like on an EBL platform. And we got you come May 5th. So make sure also when you are pulling up to the EBL battles tonight, make sure that you subscribe so that you do not miss out on any of the shows I just mentioned and so that you don't miss out on any of the upcoming battles. Now, if you were paying attention, that's 2 battles. That's a less than 24-hour prep battle going down tonight. Then there's a battle on May 5th where it's going to be a virtual battle. You're going to be able to see some of the battlers. I named a few. These are no lightweights in the battle rap game. So make sure you pull up to check them out. I know I'm going to be there. So I hope to see you there. I'm going to slide over to my chat for a second. I see Capology pull. Okay. Gang, Capology. I appreciate you pulling up this Sunday. My fave is in the chat. 2-1 as always. See, some of y'all need to get like him. Y'all, he's here every Sunday. Like I truly appreciate that. Make sure that when you do pull up, you are hitting the like button and you are also sharing the show. Those shares and those likes definitely help me get to and reach a wider audience. And I can't wait till we got the whole planet on some Nacho Sundays. Hey. So anywho, we're going to get into our show. And of course, we like to start our nacho and start devouring our nacho with the nacho cheese. And on the nacho cheese portion of our show, we talk about money, ways to save money, make passive income, or ways that our money can work for us instead of us working so hard for our money. So what I want to talk about in this week's nacho cheese is borrower's defense. I know that might sound kind of like, what's that? Well, if you've been paying attention on my Nacho Sundays show, where it's Nacho's opinion, Nacho opinion, you know how much I cannot stand student loans. I think student loans are slavery 2.0. I think it is a immoral debt to put on a person. You are obligated to a student loan longer than you are obligated legally to your own children. So I am against student loans. They need to go and be destroyed. And I think somebody heard me. So what I mean by all of that is borrower's defense. From what I am understanding about borrower's defense, this is a position that a student can take thanks to a case called Sweet versus Cardona. This is also known as the Sweet settlement. In the Sweet settlement, students have been claiming that having gone to particular schools, they were misled about either the education of the school, the quality of the school, the expectation from going to the school, or they were encouraged by some false means to participate in going to these schools. And there's a list of these schools. I know ITT Tech. There were also some, I think it was Davenport, University of Phoenix. There are quite a few schools who were caught up in this borrower's defense. And ultimately what happened is people were able to fill out an application. And in them filling out this application, they were able to seek approval to have their entire student loan debt erased, everything. And if they were able to submit the correct documentation, complete the application, and show how this school misled them, whether it was through commercials, whether they were sent some emails from a representative, whether they got pamphlets or literature, something that supported them being encouraged to go to this school by some false means. Maybe they said that, you could, you would be guaranteed some top-notch job. Maybe they encouraged you to go to the school because they said, after you graduate here, you could be a CEO. You'll have the qualifications. They might have misled you in a certain way. And this Sweet settlement acknowledges that. Now, here's a couple of catches to the Sweet settlement. You had to apply for this Sweet settlement, or you had to apply for this borrower's defense prior to June 22nd of last year. Now, I bring that up because there are some people who did apply for borrower's defense way before June 22nd of last year, and they got a letter stating that they were denied. Now, if you happen to be one of those people who filled out for borrower's defense and you were denied initially, make sure you are keeping tabs on your emails and checking your mail, because there was a case to try and block this settlement in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court denied it. So a lot of people who ended up getting those denial letters are actually turning around and seeing that they got acceptance letters and that their debt is clean. Now, they said it does take them roughly several months to make sure it catches up to your credit. Some people have been seeing results a lot sooner than that, but if you were one of those people who ultimately got a denial letter, make sure you are keeping tabs on how you're receiving mail, because you may be also either getting or about to get a acceptance letter where they have absolutely erased that debt. Now, I bring this up because I know you like Nachi, you're supposed to fill this out back last year sometime. Why are you telling us now? Well, I'm telling you now because I think that you can still fill this paperwork out. From what I'm seeing of borrower's defense, it tends to go by year. And if there is some nuance that borrower's defense is applicable to, depending on what the structure is set up for the borrower, it tends to accommodate that in certain ways. So I've seen borrower's defense 2018, borrower's defense 2021, and borrower's defense 2022. So if you are not aware of what borrower's defense is, I implore you to take a look into it, see if this applies to you, apply for it if it does, and you never know. I've seen people who have gotten over $100,000 in student loans completely erased through borrower's defense. So if you aren't familiar, get familiar, especially if you feel like your school misled you in order to attend, or encouraged you to maybe sign some paperwork or documentation to get you to go to the school that ultimately didn't pan out to be what they said. Maybe they misled you on the statistics of graduates at their school. Maybe they said something like 95% of our graduates are in top-notch job positions. Well, that 95% may be skewed because let's say you have 100 students that go to the school or apply to go to the school. If only 10 of those students graduates and 9 of them end up in CEO positions, you have an unaccounted for 90 other students, but you're basing your statistics that you're going to sell to other students on this small sample of who actually goes there, attends, and is successful. So if you feel like you were misled statistically, if you feel like maybe they encouraged you to complete certain paperwork incorrectly, anything that makes you feel misled, especially about these schools that were online and ended up either going defunct, they no longer exist. Some people are out here, still paying student loans for schools that don't even exist anymore. You might very well be one of the schools listed under this sweet settlement for this borrower's defense. So I encourage you to take a look, see if that applies to you. And if it does, get the paperwork filled out. I've seen some websites where the paperwork only takes about maybe 20, 25 minutes to complete, less than I say less than 30 pages of literature. Not to say that you're going to complete 30 pages, but there are some pages that have information on it from what I can see that you need to read through to make sure you're completing everything correctly. So again, I encourage you guys to absolutely fill out this paperwork if it applies to you. Borrower's defense, it's not something that's exclusive to just one type of situation. From what I've seen, there have been several types per year. And because I'm actually seeing people who are getting relief, like people I can physically touch, it's not some testimony out there in fantasy land of somebody who's got a made up name or some anonymous name. I've actually seen and touched people, talked to people who have actually gotten relief where they were initially denied and then they ended up getting a letter saying that they were approved. So I know a lot of you might be thinking, I heard that they blocked that in the Supreme Court. They didn't. This is actually something that they allowed to go through. And from what I understand, the settlement was for $6 billion. Billion. Now, I know for a lot of you, if you are dealing with student loan debt, the nuisance it is to your credit. That for everything that you could be doing well on your credit, that student loans can make it look like you aren't doing anything at all. So I know some of you may be very eager to try to see what you can do about getting this out of your hair. I know a few people who are going to go ahead and fill out the borrower's defense paperwork, even though they are past the deadline. So like I said, the deadline from what I can tell was June 22nd of 2022. But People are still filling out the paperwork. From what I can tell, the link is still active. So if you go to the link and complete the paperwork, worst that can happen is that you can submit it and they'll tell you that it was past the deadline. But like I said, this goes year to year. So if you already previously completed the paperwork and then there's some change in 2023, who knows? It looks like that's been happening or something along those lines. So if you look into this and you feel like, you know what, this might be something I can do, I suggest you do it, because student loan, like, y'all already know how I feel. And again, you are watching Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. This is the 9th episode. 9 is my favorite number. And in my opinion, student loans is the devil. Okay. They are a step. Matter of fact, they are right there with slavery, because there's no way all other countries, do you know how free this type of education is in other countries? Countries don't prey on their students in order to have money or assets. Only the United States. The United States, from what I can see, is unique in their approach to student loans and student loan debt. And from as far as I'm concerned, the term student loan is an oxymoron, complete oxymoron. So to think that you would give a student a loan and expect that they are going to know everything that they're supposed to know in order to handle that loan when they're still a student, it's a little governmentally irresponsible, in my opinion. Yeah, because this is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. I said what I said, I did. Yeah. So get on that borrower's defense. If you tried to go get an education thinking that you were doing what you were supposed to do because that's what you were told were the steps out of high school, is to go to college, get a good education so that you can secure yourself a good job, and then you turn around and find out that some of these schools preyed on you, misled you, check out borrower's defense. There may be something in there that is going to allow you to get some breathing room that you might not have been able to have when you were trying to struggle past these student loans. I know people who have, they have excellent responsible habits. Like, they are just, everything's organized, in order, and this thorn in their side is just, it totally clouds any paper picture of them that allows you to kind of see the person for who they are and not for what student loans wants to tell you they are. So if you do go and fill out the paperwork for borrower's defense and you find that it does work for you and you get some results, make sure you come back here to Nacho Sundays and tell us. I would love to hear your feedback stories on any of the tips or the things that we discuss in our nacho cheese, because if they work for you, you need to share with us so we can go over there and make sure we doing it too. I know I give a lot of information on these shows sometimes, so maybe you don't get a chance to try all of it, but to know that there are people out there who are trying some things and getting success stories, that warms my heart. So I'll be really wanting to see how that works out for you guys. So I'm going to slide over to my chat for a second and see who's pulling up with me. Okay, Uncle Slim. Salutations to all of y'all today. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I see Scripture Volume 1 pulled up. We in this thing, Nacho. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, wait a minute. The Mark McCluss is in my comments. I'm honored. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And I see Dave, EBL Dave, the host of Wave and Blaze, is in my chat. He said, my favorite numbers are 6 and 9. Yes, this is the 9th episode of Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. And Dave is on his Tesla thing today. Tesla said that once you know the meanings, or once you understand the meaning of 3, 6, and 9, you will understand one of the keys to the universe. So Dave, I understand exactly what you mean on the 6 and 9. Those are actually, I my favorite number is 9 because I am a 9. My birthday adds up to 9. My nickname in my old neighborhood is a 9. The time I was born adds up to a 9. My mother's birthday adds up to a 9. My grandmother's birthday adds up to a 9. So I'm a 9 that comes from a long line of 9s for my numerologists out there. But right now, we are going to actually, I'm going to take a break right here before I get into my beefy nacho, because we got some stuff to talk about in the beefy nacho. I do hope you guys stick around because, listen, this weekend has been a mess, okay? It's been a lot of beef to talk about. Why don't you stick around with me so that we can do that on the beefy nacho portion of Nacho Sundays. I'll see you guys in a minute. A woman is the most potent expression of feminine energy in the harmonic equation of the human experience. Growing down, an observation of the masculinization of the Black American woman, Volume 1. Get your copy at FibonacciBrown.com. Get your elbows up in the air like. Oh no, yeah, boy.
Now listening to the Nacho Podcast, brought to you by the EBL Network. If it ain't exclusive, it don't matter. It's not your time to talk, it's time to listen. So pull up to the table with your plate and pay attention. It's not your time to talk, Nacho Sunday. It's something different. This is not your opinion, and you don't wanna miss it. It's not your time to talk.
Welcome back. And like I said, we are getting ready to get into the beefy nacho portion of our nacho. And in the beefy nacho, we talk about conflict wherever it may exist in the world. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me coming back from break. My sound is good. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me know what's going on. Okay. Okay, cool. So in the beefy nacho portion of our show, we talk about conflict wherever it may exist in the world. And as you guys know, here on a battle rap platform, we got met with some battle rap conflict. What is going on with Black Compass? Yes, I said it. There was an event that went down with our beloved John the Don, and some people wanted to stream and watch with their friends, which from what I understand is there's nothing wrong with that. And there were also some people who wanted to stream and watch with their friends as long as their friends paid. So some folks, they felt a way because normally they can go into a voice chat and hang out with their friends and it's no problem. But, maybe they went to go get in that voice chat and they, clicking and can't get in. And they found out that in order to get in, they needed to contribute no less than $10 to the Cash App that they were provided. Some people really had an issue with that in our battle rap community. They felt like Why would you charge, to see this event? Now, let me give a little more context. From what I understand, this event was a $40 pay-per-view event, and there were people who were streaming the event who had paid for the event, but they were charging other people to watch the event with them, and they were charging them no less than $10. So not only, if 5 people pulled up, they made their money back, but 10, 15, 20, 100 or so people were, trying to watch this event with you, and all of them paid you $10. Some people kind of, felt the way. They counting pockets, and they like, nah, man, you made 4 bands over there. You made $1,500 over there. How you gonna, and some folks was like, hey, if people willing to pay it, hey, more power to them. That's a businessman. Other people were like, our money ain't good money. It was a little sleazy, and then some people was downright like, how you just gonna straight bootleg my event or bootleg an event, and charge people? Like, what's going on? So there's a lot of different perspectives on what was going on as far as what Black Compass did, how they handled it, and ultimately how it went on as far as the discussion in the community. So I'm gonna say my opinion. And again, this is Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. And this is episode 9. And in this episode, we gonna talk about it. And I think it was a little bit sleazy. Like, it was just a little sleazy. You didn't have to charge them people. If for as much as people may support your platforms, as far as going on Twitter, maybe sharing your post or sharing your events, all this free promo people may do for you when they are, fans of the platform, to then turn around and put them in an intimate setting like the Discord, and then charge them to enter. That would have been, to me, a perfect opportunity to solidify fans being able to be like, you know what? I enjoy being a fan of Black Compass. They pay for the events and they stream them so we can all see and share, and I appreciate that. Now, you do have to be a part of their Discord to be involved, but it's still nice that they will be able to do something like that. That's just how I'm thinking about it. But again, I don't even profess to know the ins and outs of the politics of how they move over there. So I'm not trying to tell them how they should be doing anything. I'm just saying, I wouldn't have charged people at all. I wouldn't have locked the room, and I wouldn't have charged them $10 to get in there. If they've been supporting, that would have been a good time to let them keep supporting, and you could have maybe, had a bonding moment with your fans. But, I think this ultimately not only left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, or in some people's mouth, I won't say everybody. Not only did this leave a bad taste in some people's mouths, but from what I can tell, and this is Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion, this pulled the rug up for a lot of other people who may have done the same thing. So it seems where people were trying to have an issue or have an opinion on something, they ended up making people pull back the rug on their own things, and it ended up shining a light on their stuff. So I don't know how this all worked out for everybody to be so up in arms, but I do think it raised a good point. Are we going to single Black Compass out, or are we going to hold everybody to the same standard? Because from what I understand, there were other platforms who did the exact same thing, and they didn't receive this kind of backlash. So, is it something with Black Compass? Why is there if there is, why is there a targeted effort toward them and not others who've done the same thing? And is it really, I've heard people saying they want to cancel them and cancel how I'm not going to cancel them. So if you came over here for that, I'm not going to cancel them. But I do want to understand the passion behind such an argument, because like I said, if other people are doing the same thing, we didn't say anything about it as a community before. We're only raising an issue now because for whatever reason, is this hype surrounding what happened with Black Compass. Why would we single them out? What is the passion behind trying to cancel them as a platform? Why do we want to do that? You know, what is that going to accomplish when you've got somebody else out here or somebody else's out here turning around doing the same thing, have been doing the same thing? There are some people who feel that, you know, this was their idea. You know, I was the one charging first. You know, wasn't nobody charging before I was charging. And it's like, you know, I think you need to pick your soapboxes. I don't think that's the one. I understand, you know, maybe some of my business majors out there understand the importance of having a business system because that's where your money is. But, you know, if that's your position, that ain't it for this. This is not the business system that you want to try to stake your claim on. So I did hear some of that discussion, but, you know, I just think the canceling of this platform is going a little bit too far, especially when it's been accepted when it comes to other platforms. So we're not gonna cancel them, but we might need to examine why is there so much passion for that platform. You know, if you do want to speak your piece, you know, I'm definitely not saying if you feel a way about it, don't say that. But I just think we need to be careful with this whole cancel culture. We need to look at where this cancel culture comes from. We need to look at who's pushing that as a community, who introduced that and wanted to keep pushing that to cancel people. I want us to look at the kind of empathy that goes in, or lack thereof, that goes into wanting to cancel someone just because they might have did something that you don't like charging people. What we have to accept, if that's our position, is that people paid it. They paid it. So if you felt like they were doing something, you know, like, I'm not giving you no money, you didn't have to pay it. Because for as much as there were people in that Discord that paid their $10, I know people who was like, nah, not what? You got me messed up. And I think that was the other argument. I heard another position where somebody was saying he was charging, or this, you know, Black Compass was charging for events that were, or for an event that was getting streamed on for free on somebody else's Instagram. So why was he charging for something that was free? Again, like I said, I wouldn't have charged. It smelled a little sleazy to me as a business practice, but you know, hey, if that's what you do and people willing to pay it, you know, hey, it is what it is. But at the same time, for somebody saying, you know, they were streaming it for free on it, maybe they're not friends with the person that was streaming it for free. So you got to, you know, I understand a lot of the positions that I heard when it came to looking into this topic to see where it was going to go. But a lot of things still left me with questions. You know, I still felt like, you know, why is this so much against them? I still felt like, you know, matter of fact, why did it even come up as an issue? Why did it even come up as something that we needed to talk about? Because like I said, if other platforms are doing it, why are we focusing on them? So it just kind of left me with a little more questions than I had when I initially started looking into this. But I'm not going to cancel them, brothers. This is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. And I said what I said. I'm not canceling them. But yeah, think about, you know, if you're going to make your money sleazy or not. Moving on to another portion of the beefy nacho. If you guys have checked out the fight this weekend, if you check, I want to say it was I cannot remember the guy's first name, Ryan. Okay, so if you checked out the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight this weekend, talk about beef. This beef has gone on for, from what I understand, 4 years. And it's about high time that somebody put this fight together in a way that they both could come to the table. And what do you know? Somebody got sat down. Ryan Garcia definitely talked a lot of stuff. He definitely had a lot to say. He was definitely talking trash to somebody he probably shouldn't have been talking trash to. And from what I understand, if you haven't seen the fight, and we're talking about the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight. If you have not seen the fight, this is a spoiler. So I'm gonna give you a chance to, go. I'm not gonna say stop watching. Please stay tuned to Nacho Sundays. Where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. But yeah, you might want to go get your, refill your glass of water, because we drinking water over here. And go get your snacks and things for the rest of the show, because we finna spoil that fight. Gervonta put a beating on Ryan. Ryan's probably not going to talk crazy to anybody for a while. Okay. Now, Ryan Garcia, from what I could tell, was 3-4 inches taller than Tank Davis. He had, I believe, almost a 3-inch longer reach than Tank Davis. They both weighed the same. Which I believe was like 135. But I want to say his record, Ryan Garcia's record was 26-0. 26-0. And I think 19 of those, no, 23-0. And I think 19 were knockouts. Okay. Tank Davis is 4 years his senior. So I think Ryan Garcia was 24. Tank Davis is 28. Tank Davis is, like I said, about 3 inches shorter than Ryan Garcia. He had a 3-inch shorter reach than Ryan Garcia. But my man had 28 fights with 26 knockouts. So it looks like it might be a good matchup on paper. It might even look like Ryan Garcia had a chance. But those of us who know better, we did not bet against Tank Davis. What? For those of y'all who lost money betting on Ryan Garcia last night, we're going to have a moment of silence for the way you killed your pockets on that bet. Because that was dumb. First of all, Tank Davis gave Ryan Garcia a wake-up call in the second round. He felt him out the first round. From what I could tell, he was doing a lot of peppering and everything, making sure he could kind of size him up, see where he is. But those of you who understand how Tank Davis fights, he doesn't throw a lot of punches. He does a lot of measuring. He takes a lot of calculations in the ring. And last night was no different. The first round, he absolutely did that. The second round, now, wait a minute. Don't let me leave this context out. Ryan Garcia was going bananas in that first round. He was extremely aggressive, really wanted to show off the speed of his hands. He and Tank Davis got wrapped up a lot because he was just kind of going wild, really trying to be the aggressor in the ring with Tank Davis. But by the second round, when he tried to do the same thing, Tank pulled the tank out and put that man on his backside, and he slid across the ring with his fist out like a Power Ranger. And it was at that point he knew he effed up, and he got himself together. He calmed completely down. The energy from the first round to the second round in Ryan Garcia was absolutely different. Absolutely different. I think he realized, you know what, I better stop trying to go so quickly, trying to show aggression through speed, because if I've been paying attention, this man is calculating me, and he calculated me so well that he hit me square in the face and put me on my behind and slid me across the ring with my arm sticking straight out. So I think he realized he needed to reassess what he was doing. But again, this is Nacho Sundays, whereas Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. And in my opinion, I think that was Tank Davis throwing the bait out there for Ryan Garcia, and he took it. I think because they are used to getting, both athletes are used to knockouts in their career. I think that the inexperience of Ryan Garcia led him to think that he was going to be fighting someone who was going to try to play who's going to knock who out first. And once he got the first knocked down, I think he spent the rest of the fight trying to avoid being knocked down. And I think that's exactly what Tank Davis wanted him to do, because while he was trying to protect his face, so he didn't get hit in the face, Tank was tearing that midsection up, all up in them ribs and all up in the side of that liver. And he's a money team man. Like, if you watch Floyd fight, you gotta know that some of that technique would have been passed down to people he's gonna support. And Tank Davis didn't let us down. He definitely got those body shots in. And where people were trying to say, he's taking some body shots, but Ryan Garcia, he's getting his licks in too. For every time Ryan Garcia, or for the most of what I saw, Ryan Garcia was trying to get Tank in the head or in the face, going for that knockout, Tank kept tagging that liver. He just kept getting that midsection. And ultimately, in the 7th round, when he got that one liver shot, we all got a good chance to see the delayed reaction of what those body shots do. And that, my friends, here at Nacho Sundays, is how you display boxing intelligence. If that man, and when I say that man, I do mean Ryan Garcia, if he would have had his boxing intelligence where it needed to be, he would know that he needs to be able to protect his body as much as he was trying to protect his head. Tank Davis knew that. He gave him the right liver shot. And when he winced in the ring, like, ooh, like, we might have thought he was smiling. No, he was wincing. He went down on one knee. And I know some of you guys that are out there who bet money on this fight, you guys are like, he gave up and he just threw the fight away. He just got down on his knee and said no. No, that man's liver was about to ooze down his leg and out of his shoe, because Tank had been tearing him up all night. He had been taking those body shots to the liver, to the side, to the ribs. And when you're not protecting yourself in that way as a boxer, because you're up here trying to protect your head because you've already been knocked down and you're afraid that he's going to catch you again, this is the kind of stuff that happens. You end up leaving yourself vulnerable. Tank Davis knew that. He went in and Tank Davis'd you. And here we are. You're going to be quiet from now on, I bet. Because on Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion, you should have been quieter. I'm not saying you had to shut all the way up, but you probably should a little bit. If you was a little more quieter, you'd at least had 2 more years more experience before this fight was set up. Because if I do recall, Tank tried to tell you were not ready. He tried to say, you're not ready. But you let this write a check that your behind couldn't cash. And here we are, with you sliding across the ring like a Power Ranger. and then having to go down on one knee like you play football with Colin Kaepernick. Because you over there telling me, no, I'm good. You tapping out. This ain't MMA. But here we are. So congratulations to Tank Davis. I know he's excited about the win. I know the money team is excited about the win. I know he's excited to keep his record intact. I don't know if he feels a way about it being considered a TKO, considering all his other KOs were KOs. But yeah, congratulations to him. And Ryan, chill out. Maybe you could get a rematch. If you've been in the ring with him now. So maybe you could take that, turn it into wisdom. And then maybe you could talk your way into another fight. And if he's, if he ain't had enough or ain't had enough by the time you get there, maybe you can revisit that. But I think you should have took his advice. You wasn't ready. You just wasn't ready. I'm going to slide over to my chat for a second, see who's pulling up with me. Oh my goodness. Queen Kinesis is in the house. I appreciate you, Queen. She's got a battle coming up. Like I said, she is definitely going to be on that May 5th Cam Up card. So make sure you pull up for that. And I cannot let it go without saying Queen Kinesis is a Detroit native. So shout out to my Detroit sis, Detroit in the house, 313. Is We Poddin'? Make sure you show up for the Is We Poddin' hosted podcast called The Fourth Round. They are doing interviews with some of your favorite top tier battle rappers. And if you have not checked out some of their interviews, listen, I think there should be like an award you can get. Like they ain't got, interview Grammys or something. What they call those? Because these brothers need that. They doing an excellent job. They are getting insight from a lot of our top tier battlers that I haven't heard in other interviews or conversations. So these questions are thought about, they're layered, and they're definitely getting to the insight in our battle rappers that we're looking for. Jay Normus. Okay, Jay Normus is going to be on that May 5th card too. I appreciate all the battle rappers pulling up. Okay, thank you. Celebrate with me on the 9th episode of Nacho Sundays. And just so y'all know, every time I come on Nacho Sundays and tell you it's a celebration, it's because every Nacho Sundays is a celebration. It's no holiday in particular. It's just Nacho Sundays. That's all. All right. MacTown pulled up with me. And he's commenting on the fight. He said, Tank set that left up from the beginning. Bingo. He walked them into it. My hubby said the same thing. So, I'm going to have to go with that. It definitely looked like he threw him the bait to me. Because once he had him convinced that he could hit him in the face, that it seemed like to me that that's all Ryan Garcia did the rest of the fight was try to protect his head from getting hit in the face. So he left his body vulnerable, and here we are. On our knees. That's the Ryan Garcia song. Oh my goodness. Oflo. First of all, Oflo Freestyles being in my chat. I hear if your show ain't ish if he don't pull up. So I'm honored. I do hear that he is going to be hosting a freestyle battles card. I will definitely get that information for you. But in the event that I don't get it in time for you, make sure you follow Oflo Freestyles on Twitter. He has got the dopest freestyle show on Twitter called Beats, Bars, and Buds. And if you think you can freestyle, I kindly encourage you to go over there and check out Oflo to make sure that's the case, because he will make you think twice about whether or not you can freestyle. Oh my goodness, Queen Mo has pulled up with me. Queen Mo Fire. I appreciate her pulling up to my show. This is the baddest moderator on YouTube. I don't care what you heard or who's doing your moderating. If it ain't Queen Mo, you ain't got the baddest. So Queen Mo Fire, salute to you, Queen. And we are going to slide into the last portion, or the second portion of our show, which is the Veggie Nacho. And in the Veggie Nacho, we talk about health. And on our health portion, I want to talk to you guys about caffeine. I hear a lot of my friends talking about giving up coffee. They're talking about they want to get away from coffee because they drink so much coffee and they feel like it's not giving them the benefits that they feel they should get from it, considering how much they drink. Now, I'm not talking about people who sip on a cup in the morning, little less than 8-ounce cup. I'm talking about my coffee drinkers who they're doing, the big venti, at Starbucks. And then on the way home, they might grab one, a cold latte. And, maybe at night they're doing some warm, flavor coffee or whatever. But doing that much coffee also means that you are taking in that much caffeine. And taking in caffeine, it's necessary that you know what you're doing to your body when you take in that kind of caffeine. Caffeine has been shown to encourage anxiety. And if you aren't sure what anxiety is the increase of hyper awareness to the point that you physically react to it. Maybe you start sweating, maybe you have hives, maybe you just have shortness of breath. But caffeine can definitely agitate anxiety. So if you're already an anxious person or you already deal with anxiety, just know that caffeine drinks such as coffee can absolutely irritate that. Caffeine is also in soft drinks. So if you have certain soft drinks that you like, you might want to make sure that you are checking to see if they have caffeine in them, because if you are drinking coffee in the morning, then maybe you're having a caffeine soda with your lunch, you might be working against yourself when it comes to controlling anxiety and also insomnia. People who tend to consume a lot of caffeine can also experience challenges with trying to sleep. So if you have been drinking coffee and you don't even think that it's having an effect on you, but you're up all night, there you have it. Maybe you don't drink coffee. Maybe you drink a lot of pop or soda. If your sodas have caffeine in them and you're staying up all night, you might be working against your sleep schedule by drinking so much coffee or caffeine drinks. Caffeine can also be found in dark chocolate, green tea, black tea, and espressos. So, if you're consuming these things on a regular basis, you might want to make sure that you are mindful of how much you're taking in, because you could be working against yourself when it comes to how much you're consuming and your sleep schedule or controlling your anxiety. Another more serious issue I found with caffeine is that caffeine causes or contributes to muscle breakdown. This muscle breakdown, forgive me, I'm going to try to pronounce what this is called. Rhabdomyolysis, which is damaged muscle fibers that enter into the bloodstream and can lead to kidney failure. So if you are consuming caffeine, let's say you aren't an active person and you sit and drink a lot of coffee, or you sit and consume a lot of soda, and you don't work out, you don't exercise, you don't go for walks, you don't keep your muscles active, you may be a candidate for muscle breakdown of that very difficult name I just said, which can definitely lead to some not so funny results like kidney failure. So again, if you are consuming caffeine every morning, consider doing something either decaffeinated or switching to something that is similar to coffee but doesn't have the caffeine content. I know some of my friends have been switching to coffee substitutes. I think one of them is called Mud or something or other, but they like it. You know, they tend to like the switch. So just be mindful. Another item that I want to bring up in our veggie nacho is aspartame. Aspartame is actually contained in our diet sodas and a lot of our sugar-free gum. So aspartame has been shown to contribute to migraines. It has been shown to contribute to diabetes and diabetic complications, as well as having contributes to vision problems like dry eyes or blurry vision. And in diabetics, this aspartame tends to reduce insulin sensitivity. So for those of you who are type 2 diabetic, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to insulin sensitivity. The reason why you are a diabetic is because your insulin sensitivity is not where it needs to be in order to allow the insulin to enter into your cells and convert into the energy you need in order to feel energized for the day. So this aspartame is an alternative sweetener, and people are either having this as a additive to teas and coffees or things that they want to sweeten, or it's already in things that they think are healthy. Your diet sodas, your sugarless gum, breath mints, carbonated drinks, cereals. If any of you guys who drink coffee are using those flavor creamers, aspartame is in there. Now, me personally, I am actually allergic to aspartame. As I found out because I was an avid gum chewer. I used to pop my gum a lot. So I used to get these headaches, and I couldn't understand where these headaches were coming from. And ultimately, I started to isolate things in my diet, and I noticed that I was only getting these headaches when I was chewing this gum. So I started researching the ingredients, and sure enough, the gum contained aspartame. And when I started to look at some of the issues with aspartame, I found that there were some people who were being diagnosed as having multiple sclerosis or MS. And a lot of the candidates in this particular study that I read over, they also were diet soda drinkers. And once they had been put on a diet that didn't allow for soda and things like that, they noticed vast improvements. But for the results that they wanted to attribute to a good diet, they couldn't explain how the symptoms of MS disappeared. And hence they began to isolate what was in the commonality in the diet of these other people. And all of them in common had something that they were using on a regular basis that had aspartame in it. So if you have someone who's suffering from MS and maybe they're drinking a diet soda as a healthy alternative, please, please, please look into aspartame. Aspartame works against people who have MS. It will actually aggravate those symptoms. So if you or a loved one is drinking carbonated drinks that have this in it, if you're chewing sugarless gum, it could be in your cereal. Low calorie, anything that says low calorie or low sugar or zero sugar, a lot of times they are substituting aspartame for a sweetener. So make sure you're checking out those ingredients, because that one, my friends, that's a doozy. When you have something that you can consume over time that can mimic the symptoms of having MS, that's pretty serious. So I'm just gonna, I learned it, so I'm gonna encourage you guys to go out there and learn it, have your own experience with the information. You don't have to take what I say, check it out, and you'll see for yourself. And moving over to the last portion of our show, which is the Nacho Supreme. We are ready to devour the last part of our nacho. In the Nacho Supreme, we talk about our knowledge nuggets, things that help us get through life, things that we've learned along the way that just help us make life a little easier, things we wish we knew when we were younger, that we learned when we got older. I like to share those nuggets here. And in this portion of the Nacho Supreme of the knowledge nugget, it's going to be about being kind. And I know you like, okay, Nachi, here we go. But I'm going to say that you have to be responsible for how you imprint this world. You're going to leave a mark, and the mark you leave may not be the one you intend. Somebody might be watching you from afar, and they might admire something about you. And when you don't take the road of kindness, you can definitely deter someone from maybe learning something valuable from you, because you chose to not be kind in how you dealt with other people. You never know what somebody is going through. You never know what a person can be dealing with, and a kindness in general can just make a person's day. I personally have gone into grocery stores. I might have been coming home from work, maybe stopping to get a couple of groceries before I got home so I could make some dinner. And I've paid for old ladies' groceries. People running out of change. I just, I either gave them the change or covered the rest of what their purchase was. And, just the look on their faces, because people don't expect kindness. People should see God in other people. Okay, so for everybody, listen, this is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. I understand this is the last part of the show, but we still gonna give my opinion on this show. And in my opinion, I think you should see God in other people. People walk around and talk about how, you can't touch God, you can't touch Jesus, you can't touch. But that's because we are all a part of that fabric. So if you're going to experience kindness, be kindness. If people aren't being nice to you, maybe you should be nice to people. See if you can get back what you put out. That's what I believe. So if you don't take anything else away from this show today, I know we talked about a lot of things, but try to be kind to people. Pain isn't always visible. People don't always walk around looking like what they've been through. And sometimes a simple act of kindness can put such a hope in people's hearts that they might get inspired to do and be something that they've needed to do and be for a very long time, and just haven't really had motivation or inspiration from anybody to do that. I've seen people break down from acts of kindness, from just seeing how far the kindness karma reaches. You might have been thinking that, I'm just going to be a nice person. So, this person in front of me is short 50 cents. I'm just going to give them the 50 cents and go back to scrolling on my phone, not knowing that, this person might be spending their last. They might have been all prepared to beg for whatever they were about to buy. And just because somebody decided to, without a second thought, look out for them, might have done more for them than what they've had done for them in quite a long time. So the gift of kindness reaches far. So also understand that just because I'm saying to be kind, it doesn't mean I'm saying take any crap. Okay. So while you can be nice, it doesn't mean you have to be gullible. Being kind doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. You can definitely show a good heart without allowing people to run over you. So, it definitely is a balance, but I just want to implore people to be kind. There's a lot of people out here. It seems like you got more people out here eager to be on demon time than trying to be nice to people. And a good friend of mine, Jules, out here in the YouTube world, he likes to say that you don't earn my respect, you earn my disrespect. And I agree with him 1,000%. I believe that you should just start out trying to be to people who you would want people to be to you. Sometimes you have to be the light. You're a lot of times you're out here looking for the light, and it's you. So sometimes you got to be the light. Sometimes you have to initiate the kindness to start the ripple in the wave. So that's going to be the close of our Nacho Sundays show. I want to thank you guys for pulling up with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys next Sunday. Before I get out of here, I'm going to run it down again. Make sure you pull up Monday through Saturday to Wave and Blaze with EBL Dave. That's starting at 7 a.m. That is the dopest morning show on YouTube. Also, make sure you are pulling up to Nacho Sundays at 6 p.m. on every Sunday. We also have the pop-up podcast, King's Court with EBL King. We've also got battles going down tonight. Make sure you pull up to the EBL network tonight. We have battles going down. These are the 24 or less prep battles. That means that these battlers have gotten less than 24 hours to prepare a round for their opponent. This will be the third installment. The first two were lit. I don't know where these battlers came from, but they pulled up with bars and it went down. It's going down again tonight. Make sure you pull up to the EBL network to catch that. And make sure you stay tuned to the EBL network on May 5th. They will be having the Cam Up battles. This will be where you will be able to see some of the voices you've heard on EBL. That's going to be Queen Kinesis. That's going to be Miss Vicious. That's Jay Normus. I don't know how many other people are going to pull up on this card, but this card is lit so far. I even heard Villa, the Discord champion of EVL, is going to be on this card, and you will get a chance to see him on this Cam Up battle. So make sure you pull up May 5th for that one. I'm out of here. Y'all have a great Sunday. Thank you again for pulling up with me, and I'm going to see you next Sunday.
We appreciate everybody for stopping by. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. And don't just watch the battle, be part of the battle. All you gotta do, look in the description, click the link to the Discord, be part of the audience live.
I do this every week.